Welcome back in, Hang with Hester, presented by Richards Honda. Cody Warsham, co-host, and here with me on a Friday afternoon. Excited for our next guest, Chad Jones, former LSU football and baseball star, joins us now. Chad, how you doing today?
How's it going, Jake? Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Appreciate your time as always, man. I thought it was a perfect time to have you on. We've been having former guys who played under Bo Pelini join us: Kelvin Shepard, Kyle Williams. Craig Stelz has been on the station as well. And we're just trying to get a perspective from a player's perspective of what you remember about Bo Pelini, what you remember about his style, and what you liked about him.
Oh man, just coming in as a young guy, I remember my freshman year. Like I said, Bo, he just brought that dominance coming around. You just felt the presence of being around and being on the field, and the way he handles the guys and deals with the guys. He treats the guys like a pro, like pro players. So it makes you feel good being up under Bo Pelini, man. But so many great memories with him. Growing me as a young guy, put me in the right position and not just throwing me out there with the Wolves and put me at safety and finding me that key position, that nickel. He definitely gets he always finds that young true freshman to be able to put on out there to add on to that glue of the defense, to try to get the guys over top.
Chad, one of the positions that always stands out to me with Bo Pelini when he was at LSU was the safety position. Guys like yourself, I mentioned Craig Stelz, LaRon Landry, Jesse Daniels, some big-time playmakers, and it seemed like he would let y'all be aggressive. I don't really remember seeing safeties blitz up the A-gap, the B-gap so many times like I did when Bo Pelini was the defensive coordinator. Of course, we kind of go back to the plays against Alabama when LaRon Landry almost killed Brody Croyle. When you hit John Parker Wilson, made him fumble. Then we go when we scored the winning touchdown right after that. Do you remember a defensive coordinator allowing his safeties to be that aggressive? Because for me, a guy like Jacoby Stevens will thrive under Bo Pelini.
Exactly, man. Well, Bo lets his guys play. Once he gains the trust in you and gains the trust in your group, like what he used to do with us DBs. Once he gains the confidence, then he's going to let you off the leash. He's going to let you roam around. He's going to let you blitz. He's going to put you in a position to be able to thrive. And that's definitely what we're going to. I know what the fans and everybody else is going to be looking forward to next year to see. But I think there's a lot to come with that.
All right, Chad Jones is our guest here on Hanging with Hester. Of course, Chad played football and baseball here at LSU, was drafted in both sports as well. And it's going to bring up our next safety, Mo Hampton. Now, Mo Hampton's a guy that played safety just like you did, also trying to play baseball for LSU. How difficult is that? And he just went on the longest college football season of all time, and now he's trying to transition to baseball. How difficult is that transition, and what is he going through right now?
It's definitely a big transition. The transition is more so it's hardest off the field. Extending your days, and having some more so doing two practices sometimes, whether it's weights or football, and then going to baseball practice. This is going to be a lot of time consumption on the weekends. Learning how to juggle those classes on and off the field. As an athlete, being on the baseball field, if he's a true athlete baseball player, he should be able to adjust pretty good, and coming off of a good weight program, he should be able to see a huge difference in his baseball game coming off a long football season.
Chad, I remember last year talking with Paul Maneri for about an hour, because you can't talk to Paul Maneri for like less than an hour. He just can carry a conversation. But he was talking about you, and he was telling me stories about your baseball career and how you came to become basically this dominant relief pitcher during that stretch when you guys won the College World Series. I just kind of want to hear that story from your perspective, sort of how you found yourself in the bullpen on this team. I remember some of the details of the story that he told me and just kind of how you emerged into that spot. But what do you remember about that time when you're making that transition? If I remember correctly, you weren't playing a ton early in the season as you were making that transition, and then all of a sudden you became just this weapon out of the bullpen.
It's kind of the exact opposite, man. I was actually one of the main guys. I was batting fifth in the lineup. I was starting on either right or left field.
Yeah, so you were playing in the outfield first.
Exactly, I was in that outfield. But just like juggling that football, baseball, this is when we had new defense coordinator changes when Big Chief came into town.
That's right.
So I was in the middle of baseball season, playing, doing great, but then I had to leave and go back and figure out the new defense for football. So those type of things could be happening, throughout this season with him, and that can be stressful also. But hopping back to that story, when I got back after spring training was over, Mikey Matuk was he basically took my position. Mikey Matuk's still a big leaguer to this day right now.
Pretty good baseball player.
Yeah, we had a big time first rounder, but he took my spot in the outfield, so I was trying to find ways to get back on the field. But just so happened one of our middle relief pitchers went down with arm surgery, and coach knew that I could pitch, but he put me in the bullpen on practice on Wednesday, and I threw so good on Wednesday that I made my pitching debut Sunday. I'm thinking Sunday against Auburn, that first game, which was very exciting.
Didn't you come in with like the bases loaded, like in a very intense situation?
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking it was runners on second and third, and it had 2 outs, and it had I think it was runners on second and third, 2 outs, and I think we were up by 1. He had this left-hander came up the bat, and you were looking for me to be a left-handed specialist for that game. But I was surprised he put me in such a tense shock situation. But obviously Coach Maneri knew something, saw something in me that I could handle that situation. Like I said, I got us out that situation. We went on to win that game.
Chad Jones, our guest here on Hanging with Hester. It's a great point that you make about Mo Hampton being a football scholarship guy. We talked about the guys over at Ole Miss. John Rice Plumlee is the quarterback for Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin's bringing a new offense to Oxford. So he's a guy who plays baseball. Obviously, Mo Hampton plays baseball as well as we're talking here, and he's got a new defensive coordinator, somebody we've also talked about here. So, what is that fight? Don't you have to have the coaches on both pages in the same page as well, because when you look at it, they're on football scholarship, Chad, and football's always going to win out when they're paying for the school, they're paying for the board and those type of things, right?
No, most definitely. Yeah, since I was on football scholarship, football mostly kind of overruled certain decisions when it came to certain workouts, how I was going to lift weights that day, But as a pitcher, and him being, as a pitcher is a little different for me, but him being a fielder, he's gonna have to be on that baseball field much more. And on that baseball diamond practicing much more, but it is going to be some type of tense struggle between football and baseball. But Coach Maneri and Les Miles did a great job with me. I can't see nothing but the best coming from Ed Orgeron.
All right, he is Chad Jones. Chad, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man. I appreciate you giving us a couple minutes here on a Friday.
Not a problem, man. Always anything for you, man. You take care.
You as well. There he is, Chad Jones.